Hello and welcome. Gates Adams here with GACTradingPro.com. How you guys doing today? I am going to go through a few things today. I'm still getting used to all the tech here, so I see two versions of myself, one on like a 2-second delay. So forgive me if I get distracted. I'll try not to do that, but I'm trying to access any sort of comments on here so that we can potentially make this more of an interactive thing. Anyway, okay, so first and foremost, let me pop this on here. Well, where's my screen? Already having tech issues. Isn't that awesome? Let's see here. Well. I don't know why that's not popping up. All right. Let's see here. Display. There we go. Did that do it? There we go. Awesome. Okay. All right. No. Let's. Oh, there's the delay. Okay. Perfect. There we go. That did it. So, first and foremost, risk disclosure. Trading involves risk. Know what you're doing before you take any sort of action. Seems like the right thing to do to put that on there. And forgive my lighting. My lighting is definitely a little bit off. Still working out some of the final kinks here, but slowly but surely getting things in order. So welcome. Happy New Year. I hope you guys had a fun evening last night. I hope everybody was safe and had a wonderful time. But it's time to get into gear for 2023. So let me first start by introducing myself. My name is Gates Adams. I am not trying to teach you how to trade. That has nothing to do with this. I am not a skilled trader. I am working on battling my own demons and basically overcoming some issues that I'll kind of share with you here in a second in terms of trading. So why am I doing this? Why am I live streaming? You know, what's the whole point of this? Well, first of all, and I'll share my story here with you in a second, but I got a lot of baggage when it comes to trading. I first really started trading about 25 years ago and had what ultimately turned into a horrific experience. And since then, I've tried to go back to trading multiple times, different instruments, different strategies over the years. It's been about 25 years. And what I've found is that I'm pretty good at figuring out how to trade, paper trading, relatively speaking, successfully. But the second that I put money on the line, I get into my own head. I make bad decisions. The psychology of trading live money has really messed with my ability to perform. And, well, turns out I'm not the only one who seems to have that kind of an issue. And so I thought that, basically I could do two things here. Number one is if I did this publicly, then it would kind of force me to get out of my own head and really change the dynamics of the whole process of trading. And for me, that seemed like a pretty positive way of kind of changing and shifting the way that things kind of came about. But I also thought it would make it a little bit more fun. Trading, if you're a trader, you spend a lot of time.
Risks associated with any
tech fun. You spend a lot of time basically sitting there waiting for whatever it is that you're looking for as a trader, and that's going to be different for everybody. So again, not trying to do that, here in terms of this process. But I thought that if I'm going live, had some other traders in the room, it might make it a little bit more fun, a little bit more interactive, and the idea here is really just to kind of create a little bit more of a community where we all help each other out. I guess kind of made myself the sacrificial lamb, so to speak. You guys get to see what I'm doing. But I just want to chat with you guys. I want to interact with you guys. And my sincere hope is that, again, I'm not the only one who has trading baggage. I'm not the only one who suffers from trading psychology issues. So, I mean, there's tons and tons of ways to get over that. But for me, I like watching people do things that I want to do. It really helps me learn the process better, really helps me kind of get an idea of what to expect. And so I thought if that was of benefit and use to me, I thought it might be for you as well. If you deal with trading psychology issues, if you notice a significant difference between your results paper trading versus live trading, or if you're just kind of coming up and learning the ropes yourself, it might help to see somebody who is not a pro go through this process. I mean, let's face it, most of the guys that are streaming their trading, they're probably good because that's the idea. That's what's going to draw people in. But also, usually they're trying to sell something. I'm not trying to sell anything. This is just kind of me working and battling my own demons here. And you probably know, if you're here at this point, that I am an affiliate for Apex Trader Funding. I'm going to talk about them a lot, simply because they're the only reason that I'm taking this next step again now. And I'll talk, like I said, a little bit more about that as well. But I'm going to talk about them. And if you're a futures trader, I'd highly recommend taking a look at them. And if you do, make sure you use coupon code GAC50 because it'll save you 50%. Sometimes it'll even save you more. If you actually go check them out today, it'll save you 90%. So on your evaluations. If you don't know what that means, then we'll topic for another time. Anyway, that's about as salesy as I'm going to get here. And hopefully that's cool. But more importantly, is really just creating this community and, having some people who are maybe going through some of the same struggles have an opportunity to communicate and chat, because I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy who's been trading for 20 years and you want to watch me, tick by tick, take each trade and follow along, because I'm not there yet. And if you're not there yet, then, birds of a feather. So welcome to what I'm calling Trader Revolution. So the idea here being that who I am and what I am as a trader evolves over the course of the next year. So let's talk about my trading baggage, because I think this is where a lot of us are going to fall into a lot of the same categories, and where ultimately I think my baggage is probably worse than yours. Now, don't beat me up if you've got a worse story than this, but most people aren't going to have anything quite as dramatic as what happened to me 25 years ago, because it was really one of the most irresponsible things I've ever done. The problem was it went really well for a minute, and if it had just gone bad from the beginning, I don't think it would have been as bad in the end. So at any rate, let's just take a step back here. My introduction to trading was my dad. My dad was a commercial real estate broker. He wasn't a professional trader, at least in the beginning stages. His preference was commodities. He traded commodities. And when I was a kid, when he wasn't working, when he was at home, he would basically have, newspaper charts, and he would be marking them up, looking for patterns and things like that. And I'd want to spend time with my dad. So I asked him what he was doing. He showed me the patterns he was looking for, and I would sit there and I would mark them up with him, and I would give them back to him, and he would give me accolades if I got them right. And that was cool for me as a kid. And anyway, fast forward, in March of 1998, my dad was diagnosed with cancer. It was pretty extensive, and it was not anything that was expecting to be treated. 7 weeks later, in May of 1998, he passed away. We didn't really have a lot of time to prepare, to think about it. A lot of structures that a lot of people have in place weren't necessarily in place. He was 59 years old. It just wasn't anything that we were expecting. So it hit us all pretty hard, my brother, my mother, and I. And one of the things that he had done before he passed was he had advanced his trading enough to where he had developed and documented a system that he was trading. He had gotten registered as a licensed registered investment advisor, was I think the verbiage. And he was actually trading a couple of people's money, a couple of friends. Of course, when he passed away, that all was disseminated and was no longer part of the picture. But the thing was that his trading system, I learned how to do it. I learned how to execute it. It wasn't very complicated. I think it was a MACD and a couple of other indicators. It was like a red-green kind of thing that he had basically taken a few things, slapped them together, and had gotten really good results out of it. So I started trading it. And what I was trading was, I'm trying to remember the symbol, if it was either Q or QQQ. Anyway, it may still exist. I don't know. I haven't even looked at it. Talk about something that brings me a little bit of anxiety. But what it was an index fund that doubled the movement of the NASDAQ. So if the NASDAQ had gone up 3% for the day, the fund would go up 6%, and vice versa. And the trading strategy was a lot of in and outs. I mean, I would literally go from a long trade straight to a short trade with no out. I mean, it was just a lot of back and forth, a lot of movement. And for those of you that might be old enough, you might remember 1998. There was the NASDAQ in particular was moving so aggressively, so fast. And for the first couple of months I was doing this, what I did was ultimately I started trading my mother's money. I didn't have any money back then. And so I was trading my mother's money, which was about $100,000 that she had kind of left after everything was all done, settling the estate with my dad. And in a couple of short months, I turned that $100,000 into almost $700,000. It was crazy. I couldn't miss a trade. I would take a long and it would be up 3 or 4%, and then I would immediately shift back into a short, and then I'd pick up another 2 or 3%. I mean, it was just so aggressive in such a short period of time. We were making tens of thousands of dollars a day. I mean, this was not money that either me or my family really had seen. And so, in my head, I'm spending my newfound wealth. I mean, this was life-changing. This was so many things. Now, of course, this was my mother's money, but, moms are there to help out when the kids need it, especially when the kid's the one trading and making the money. So in my head, financially speaking, my life had changed dramatically. Now, of course, we never actually took any of the money out. We were just continuing to trade it on an ongoing basis. It was, as the account grew, so did the profits on a day-to-day basis. And then one day, things just shifted. Things just changed. And within my timetables, it's been 25 years, so my timetables aren't real exact, but I think within about a month to 6 weeks, we blew the whole account. At this time, I'm saying we again. I blew the whole account down to zero. And the problem I had with this, psychologically speaking, aside from the fact that this was my mother's life savings now at this point, was that as it was going good, my whole mindset was, oh, this is Dad. This is Dad helping us from beyond the grave. This is like his last little, here, I'm taking care of you one last time. Take this, run with it, and then I'm out. And clearly that wasn't the case. So we blew the account. All the money was gone, including the initial $100,000. And then my mother and I had a really, really bad idea. Her house was virtually paid off. This house was actually, my dad had been a builder in the 70s, and this house that he built, that I grew up in, that he raised his family in. And so we took out every last dime of equity we could. It was the late 90s. We could pull out quite a bit. And so we decided that the loss had to be a fluke. We were going to get back in, and we were going to, we were going to make it all back and then some. We were going to be millionaires before the end of the year. And, well, obviously that's not what happened. By October, remember my dad died in May, by October, everything was gone, including the equity money. So my mother was now leveraged to the hilt. My dad was gone. She was broke. I was broke. I mean, we were all broke. And so basically within, several months of my mother being widowed, I financially devastated her as well. And that was kind of the way that I looked at it. She was definitely a driving force in doing the trading. So, it's on both of us, but of course it was me pulling the trigger. And so that really has stuck with me, clearly. That was 1998, so it's 2023 officially as of today, almost 25 years ago. And I've definitely struggled in moving past that. Now, my guess is your story isn't quite as drastic as mine. My hope is that your story isn't as drastic as mine. But that's the foundation of what's going on in my head whenever trading comes up. And so for 25 years, somehow trading keeps coming up. And I just haven't been able to get past that. In fact, let's see here, going back 2010, I actually was working with a buddy of mine. He taught an option strategy. And I was a coach. I was an online coach. I would basically have my iPad with me. Was it iPads back then or laptops? Anyway, I can't remember. Anyway, I would have my connection with me, and students would call me up, and I would walk them through their trades. They would show me the trades that they've taken. I would advise them, guide them, all of the things that that you do as a coach. And apparently, I was one of the favorite coaches. People loved. People requested me to the point where I had to actually stop taking coaching students because there were so many. So I was very effective at that, but guess what? When it came to actually trading the strategy myself that I was good enough to coach, not just good enough to understand, but good enough to coach, I still couldn't do it. I still blew it every time I tried to start up, and anyway, it was just bad. Obviously, this has stuck with me for a couple of decades plus now, and so I'm at the point where I know trading is something I want to do. I know trading is something that I can do, as proven by my history paper trading, and I know that the problem is within me. I know that it's my mindset. I know that it's my psychology. I know it's the baggage that comes from all of that. So hopefully, in some way, you can see some similarities between where you are and where I am, and we have an opportunity to grow together. If you're further ahead than me and you're rocking it, you're consistent, you're making money trading, I would love some guidance from you as we go through this process. If you're still in the very beginning stages, just learning the basics, maybe watching and going through this process, it'll help keep you from developing the kind of baggage that I did, and hopefully save you from some major challenges along the way. So in addition to that, and again, I talked about Apex Trader Funding and the fact that I am an affiliate for them. I'm going to talk about them. The reason I'm here is because I now have an opportunity to trade for profits excuse me, without using my own money, without having to set up a $5, $10, $15, $20, $30, $50,000 account and risk my own money in order to trade for profits. And the reason the way that this all came to be, the CEO, Daryl Martin, is a longtime friend of mine. I guess we've been friends now for over 20 years, probably close to 25 years now. I guess I met him a little bit after, that devastating 98 scenario. And this was long before he ever traded. And then the COO, John, he and I used to sell knives together back in the 90s. So I've known him for well over 25 years. Anyway, these are two of my best friends and longest friends that I've had in the world. And our friendship predates any of us really trading with any sort of significance. And about almost 15 years ago, Daryl he was a self-taught trader. He used some resources and got some mentoring, but he's one of those guys that has one of those brains that works in very strange ways. It's hard to fathom how his brain works. Anyway, he sees things that a lot of people don't see. And so he became a very successful trader within a pretty short period of time, to the point that at the time I was actually working in the seminar industry. I was working with one of those quote-unquote gurus. And when he started to achieve this level of success, we were talking and we thought, hey, I suggested, hey, maybe you should teach people how to do this. This is kind of what I do all day, every day. I don't teach. I support. I kind of help set everything up and all of the back end stuff. I said we could team up. You could teach people how to trade, and help them actually start an education company almost 15 years ago. I ended up pulling away because of other commitments that I had before everything took off, but he ran with it, and he's done very, very well with it. He's, from what I can see, one of the most prolific trainers on the planet. And I think one of the reasons is because he's very sincere. He still trades. He still trades virtually daily. In fact, he even trades most days in his trading room that he has for his education company. And last year, and then John, actually, I introduced them when we were all, none of this had anything to do with trading. And, we used to hang out. We became friends. And a few years went by, and John, actually, he and I were having a conversation. Something came up about trading, and he says, yeah, I've been watching this guy on these YouTube videos, and he sounds like he's pretty good. Have you ever heard of this new market, Nadex, which was one of the things that Daryl had been teaching in the early stages? And I said, well, yeah, you remember Daryl, he's teaching people how to do it. He goes, I think that's who is in the videos. Anyway, long story short, I kind of connected them. They've worked together for quite some time now in the education side, and about a year ago they started a funding company, a futures traders funding company. And the way that started was Daryl was actually recommending to his students that they work with one of the other funding companies that's out there, and for years that was a successful relationship. And then Daryl had a particularly large payout, what they considered to be a very large payout. And they changed the rules, capping the amount of profits that a trader could make in a performance account, in a funded account. And he didn't think that was quite fair, so he started doing some digging and realized that he could start his own funding company, and he could build it the way that he wanted one built for himself, which ultimately meant that the rules were more lax. They gave the traders more freedom and flexibility, still very viable as a business model, and without capping things like profits, which is the whole reason someone moves into this arena in the first place. So in a little over a year, Apex Trader Funding is now, I guess, the largest futures funding company in the country, possibly the world. I know I talked a little bit about this on Friday. So anyway, it's just taken off, and it's grown, and it's been kind of amazing to watch. So about a year ago, I was back in the mattress business. I've been in the mattress business off and on for about 22 years, and with the market the way it was, I was out. I was done. So I was shutting down my shop, going through a bit of a professional transition, and I have a history of marketing, which I had used obviously in the mattress shop. And so I took those skills and became an affiliate for Apex Trader Funding, promoting a business that is something that I very deeply believe in. It really started with, I think if I had a funding company that I was working with in 1998, things would have been very, very different. I would have been able to keep the majority of the profits, but I would have been forced to make different decisions when things started going south, and I would have never been put into a position like I was, where we just blew everything. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. Just absolutely insane when I think about it. So why did I start promoting them? Well, because I believed that by utilizing a resource like this, I could get past my baggage and I could start trading. And so I told everybody my story, with the intent of starting to trade. Well, what happened since then is I've moved, I think, literally 5 times. My trading computer crapped out. I've lived in 2 very rural areas where it took me some time to find reliable internet, which is kind of critical when it comes to trading. And I had a lot of excuses. The thing is that those kind of start to stack up and pile up, and it's really easy to say, oh yeah, there's way too much going on. Couldn't have traded. I could have traded probably 80% of the last year, but I didn't, because I had all these wonderful, beautiful, pretty excuses that kept me from doing what I know I needed to do. So I didn't. And I realized a couple of months ago that, yeah, a lot of this was just excuse. And it was time to actually put my money where my mouth was. I was promoting this business based on what I knew it could do for me, but I wasn't doing it for me. And that to me is not living in integrity. That to me is not really, it's not practicing what you preach. It's not being honorable to the process and to what I'm doing. So I made the decision that I am going to go all in, and I'm going to trade utilizing these resources, and I'm going to let you watch me, force me to be accountable. So I hope that makes sense and helps you kind of understand where I am, where I'm coming from, why I'm doing this, and I hope it encourages you to join along. Come with me on this journey. My commitment is to trade until I take a payout from the funding company. That could take, it's not going to take weeks. That's not reasonable in the grand scheme of things, but it may take a few months. It may take a couple of years. I'm hoping it doesn't take a couple of years. I hope I'm working in the few months range, but that is my commitment. I'm going to trade live until I take money out. Why is that the target? Well, number one, that's why everybody wants to go into trading, is to make money. That's the whole point. Of course, I get that. But also, I want to create this visual of what it took to get from where I am today to where everybody wants to be that trades, whether they're there or not. Everybody wants to be in the money. Everybody wants to be profitable. That's the whole idea. So that's the commitment. So where am I today? The answer to that question actually just changed within the last 72 hours. Well, 96 hours. That's 3 or 4 days. When I went down this process, of course, the strategy that I intended to use was the strategy that I had been using a few years ago when I tried to go down this road before, without all the resources that exist today, or at least without knowing about them, which was a strategy that Daryl teaches in his education company. And I was pretty comfortable with it. I had traded it. The last time I traded it, I think, was about 2015. I traded pretty solidly for about 6 months, which included a few months of paper trading and then some dancing around for a little bit with live trading until I blew my account, which is what always seemed to happen as I was going down this process. So anyway, I felt like it would be pretty easy to come back in, just refresh myself on the strategy. Or on the strategies. And I was talking to Daryl a few nights ago, and I was telling him what I was thinking and what I was doing. He's still my mentor. He's still my trainer when it comes to trading. So we were going through this process, and he says, when was the last time you logged in? I said, well, it's been a while. And so he was sharing with me that since then there was what I'm going to call a new trade. It was a trade that was new to me, but it had been around for several years, that he teaches, that is just a little bit, it's kind of a mixture of all of the strategies that he teaches, but packaged in a way that helps create a much higher level of consistency, a much higher level of probability. And so what this meant was that I had to go in and learn a new trade setup. So I've spent the last few days working on that and learning a new trade setup. So when I start trading on Tuesday, when the markets are open again, which I will be doing live, you're going to watch me paper trade this new setup for the first time ever. So you want to talk about going in from the beginning? That's where I am. I'm trading a new strategy. I definitely have some baggage. I'm a little bit nervous about doing this live, so that's all the dynamics that you're going to get to witness live as we go through this process, and it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see. So hopefully this will serve as a guide and an example for anybody who's wanting to go down this road themselves. So anyway, I want to talk a little bit about the structure and what you're going to see as we go through this process. Let me get my page up here. So I've tried to do this to where it can be as interactive and interesting as possible, as visual as possible. So nobody wants to see me while I'm trading. What people want to see is my screen. So what you'll see is my trading chart with me in the corner there. And you'll actually get to watch. I guess there's a couple seconds of delay, but for the most part, you're going to see live exactly what I'm doing on a live chart, and you'll watch me talk about, think about, and execute trades on on an ongoing basis with the actual visual. You get to see what happens as it happens. Now, as I do these live streams, they are recorded, they're saved on Facebook, they're saved on YouTube. You can always go back and review them. And the other thing that I have set up to do here, I don't know how much I'm going to use this, but I thought it would be kind of cool if... what happened here? Did I lose it? I also have... no, screen mirroring. So... well, I'll come back and fix this. But I have a tablet set up to be a whiteboard, so if I'm illustrating something that I'm going through, you can actually see that. I can document it, or whatever the case may be. So maybe there's going to be some value in that, and we'll see. Anyway, so that's basically the way that I'm going to try to interact with you guys. Again, I'll try to kind of work through some of the technical difficulties that I'm having as we go through this process, but it'll just be an ever-evolving process, so no worries there. What to expect from me? Number one, I am not a skilled trader. I'm not here to teach you how to trade. Please don't come here for that. There's plenty of people that do that. A lot of them free on YouTube or whatever other streams. There's courses. There's all sorts of stuff that you can take if you want to learn how to trade. That's not what I'm here for, so just let me get that out of the way. What I'm doing is I'm trying to create this evolution where I get past my baggage. I figure out the ins and outs of not just trading setups, but reading the markets and becoming an actual skilled trader, not just someone who's pushing buttons based on this indicator and that signal and whatever the case may be. So you get to see that happen in real time. And, give you guys the opportunity to watch it unfold as it happens. And again, I do think that for the most part, my psychological roadblocks and barriers are probably bigger than yours if you have them. And it really is hopeful that I have the opportunity to go through this process and not only improve my life by building in this additional income stream, by building this set of skills that no matter what happens around me, as long as there are markets to trade, that skill is semi-universal. But also, I'm hoping that in seeing me go through this process and seeing me overcome my issues, my demons, all of those things, that it's helpful to you in some way, whether it's inspiring you to take your trading to the next level, whether it's simply seeing that you can change your mindset, you can get past any psychological issues that you may have when it comes to trading. My hope is that we have an opportunity to do this together. So in terms of watching, in terms of checking in with me, I talked about this on Friday, but you can obviously tune into the live stream, which will be on Facebook and YouTube. Supposedly it will be, I can stream it on Twitter. I don't know how that works, so I'm still trying to figure that one out. Which anytime that I trade, I'm going to go live. My schedule should be fairly consistent, but if I change it, I'll try to let you guys know ahead of time. But what's not going to happen is you're not going to see my account one day and I'm down $3,000, and then you'll log in a few days later and I'll show you that my account's now up $5,000 and you didn't see me do it. None of that BS. Not going to happen. So if I'm trading, I'm live, and it will be recorded and you will be able to go back and see it. Of course, that's free. Just log in, check it out, see what you want. Everything's free, by the way. The other option, if you want a little bit more of a backstage pass kind of look, let me go back over here. This is my website, which is gactradingpro.com. Great picture of me right there with a little shorter hair back then. Little trivia, that was the night that my wife married me. That was an exciting day for me, and that's her hand right there in the background. I had to crop her out for my headshot. Anyway, amazing woman, and the glue that holds everything together in my life. Anyway, if you scroll down on that page, you can see down here, you can see all of my social. Go on there, like, follow, all of that. I will be more prolific about getting on social and posting stuff and everything like that as we go through this process. But just below that, you can see that there's an option here to click here to get your free backstage pass. What I mean by this is at the end of the trading day, I'm going to turn off the live stream and I'm going to kind of record my daily recap. So what I'll do is I'll pull up my charts. I'll look at the trades that I took. I will look at trades that were kind of questionable and kind of review. Again, not for the purpose of teaching you any of these things, but for the purpose of just reviewing my process and making sure that all the decisions that I made were good decisions, why I made them, just part of the process to improve, to develop as a trader. I'll go through my trading journal, how many trades did I take, average profit, average loss, all the numbers of everything. And this is going to take place whether it's demo trading or trading in an evaluation to get a funded account or trading in a funded account. I'm going to go through this with the whole thing and let you see exactly what happened for the day. I'll also keep the financial tallies. So as I go through the process of getting an evaluation and potentially having to reset an evaluation, which let's face it, I'm going to have to reset some evaluations. That's just part of the process. So any costs associated with getting set up, I will keep that tally so you can see exactly where I am financially in this process, so that when I get that payout, when I get that first payout, you can see kind of where I landed, how long it took me to go from putting money in to taking money out, the whole thing. Just, get to see where I am financially. What I think is probably going to be the coolest part of this is that all of these will be saved in kind of a back office, a members area, where you can actually go back in and see every day's recap once it's once I'm done and it's uploaded. So you can actually see the specific, you can actually see all the trades, my mindset, my attitude, all of the things that go along with this whole process day by day if you want, and actually see the shift as it happens. And sometimes, when you have this major shift or this aha moment in life, it doesn't matter what you're doing, a lot of times you can kind of just see that immediate transition when it happens. And my hope is that all of this gets documented in a way that becomes more meaningful, helpful, and viable as a resource for other people. So if you want that backstage pass, all I need is an email address, your name and email, I guess, so that you can log into that back area and see all of the recordings once they're up. The recordings go up daily. So when you're on the page, click down here and go to the free backstage access. And it'll just take you to the page here where it just kind of explains what I'm doing. And just put your name and email address and get your free backstage pass. You'll get an email with all the login information. If you lose login information, you can always just go right back to the main page. And down here is the link to the member login. So you go right here. I happen to be logged in right now, so you can see this is what it's going to look like here. And you'll go to different modules. So the introduction currently has one video. Here we go. From Friday. So that was when I went live on Friday. And so you can see that live stream. I got to do better with these thumbnails. That's a horrible one. But anyway, I'll fix that. This is going to go into that same category or same module as well. And then, excuse me, once I start trading, we'll have weekly modules here. You go to each module, and then you'll be able to go to the recap for each day. That way you can actually see the trades, see the results, see everything without having to sift through 2 to 3 hours worth of trading on the live stream to get to the good stuff. So if you want to do that, I think that that'll be fun. It'll just kind of help make it a little bit easier and cleaner and hopefully more meaningful as you go through this process. So let me come back up here. Here we go. And then from there, I guess that's really pretty much it for today. I start trading on Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. I'll log in at open, maybe a couple minutes before. What to expect? I'm probably not going to take any even demo trades this week. If I see something that looks unbelievable, great, but this is a new strategy for me, so I'm going to be eyeballing it. I'll kind of talk about it as we go, not in a manner of teaching it to you. That's number one, not my place, and number two, it's part of Daryl's trading education company, and if you are interested in it, I can get you a link to that stuff as well later. But anyway, I'll kind of go through at least the thought process, see what leads me to the trades. If it's something that I think would be a good take, then we can see how it goes. If I think, no, this one's questionable or whatever. So I'll be able to go through that process the first few days, which basically means probably all of this week. So I'll have the charts open. We looking for the trades. It's probably not likely that I'll actually take any of them, but maybe. We'll see. We'll just kind of have to play it by ear as we go through there. And if you're watching this, I guess really for me, I'd like to know, what is it that you want to get from following this journey? What is it that you want to see? What is it that you hope to gain? And if you're somewhere close to where I am in my journey, what is it that you feel like are your missing pieces? What is it that you need in order to get to that next level, which hopefully that next level is being in the money and trading for profits. So anyway, I guess that's about it for today. As we start going through these, I like I said, I would like for them to be interactive. So if nothing else, I think that you can at least comment on the Facebook page, and those comments should pop up. You might be able to comment on YouTube as well. I'm not sure yet. But those comments should pop up for me over here, so I should be able to kind of interact with those as we go through the process. And then other than that, I'd really love to communicate with you guys. Any messages that I get, I mean, it's just me. I am GAC Trading Pro. The pro being a necessary add-on for the domain name, I will freely admit. Hopefully one day it's pretty accurate, but right now it should just be GAC Trading. But I couldn't get the domain name, so I had to slap the pro on there. But I'm the GA of GAC. So I'd love to communicate with you guys. Message me on social in any which way you'd like. Also, you can email me at support@gactradingpro.com. I read every email I get. I try to respond to everything I get. I look forward to kind of helping build a little bit, like I said, the community on here where we can trade together, we can learn together, we can grow together, and we can help each other out in a variety of different ways. So anyway, I hope you guys had a wonderful New Year's Eve. I wish you a very, very happy, prosperous, and fruitful 2023. I look forward to seeing you guys in the live stream and in the Backstage Pass. Have a wonderful rest of your day. God bless. I'll talk to you all soon.